Absolutely unspeakable. Far-seeing phoenixes. Harry licked his lips and watched as Snape added the ground lacewings to the potion. Lately he'd been noticing Snape's hands a lot. Not surprising, he supposed, since at the moment they were weaving a fairly complex pattern over the bubbling cauldron. They had, only a few minutes before, been all over him. Those fingers had a way of sliding into him, opening Harry up to Snape, that made Harry shiver and moan every time, like now. Snape's head snapped up. "Is it time?" he asked. Harry shook his head. He didn't have that as an excuse right now. As far as he could tell, the dragon was quiescent. He sensed nothing but quiet satisfaction through the bond. And yet here he was, fantasizing about Snape's fingers. I am so fucked. "Assist me with this, then." Harry walked over and stood next to Snape. He was an adequate brewer, enough for field work as an aura, but he would be the first to admit that he wasn't an inspired potions maker, and certainly wasn't master level. Snape tossed something at him, and Harry barely managed to catch it. "So much for being a natural seeker," Snape sneered. "Hey, at least I caught it, you git," Harry growled back. Snape's face grew thunderous. "Why, you—" A distant cry interrupted him, and, with a flame, something popped into the room, hovering in the air above Snape's head. Harry blinked. "Is that— Are you blind? It's Fawkes, of course." Snape reached up an arm, and the phoenix settled on it, trilling softly. "I thought he was lost. No one ever saw him after Dumbledore." Harry stared at the phoenix. "Was this how you survived? His tears?" Snape sighed. "I'm brewing a very sensitive potion here, Potter. Do try to be quiet." Turning to the phoenix, Snape said, "And it's about time you showed up. Some familiar you turned out to be." Fawkes trilled back at him, and Harry smiled. He'd missed the phoenix. Lifting his arm up, Snape ran his hands over the bird's feathers, as if searching for something. A specific feather, perhaps. Harry swallowed hard, memories of those hands roaming his body assaulting him once more. God, how he burned, and his body sang when Snape played him like an instrument. "It started again," he managed to gasp. Snape stared at him. "Right now?" Harry moaned. A sensual languor enveloped him, and he smiled. "Think you're up for it?" "I dare say," Snape said, "although your timing could hardly be worse." Fawkes, as if sensing the coming events, took to the air, and hovered there for a moment before disappearing in a shower of orange sparks. Snape reached for him, and as Harry melted into his arms and welcomed him to his body once more, he wondered how long it would be before this fever left him, and was it wrong to hope it never did? Fawkes hovered in the air above the hut, eyeing the dragons. He really didn't like this place, mainly because it smelled like dragons. And honestly, when would his new human and the Harry boy admit they wanted each other and be done? At this rate, the story would never end. With a trill of disgust, he circled once and disappeared. Maybe tomorrow he would try again.